When we launched Positively Healthy in 1986, in advance of the science and using whatever science was available at the time, we created very clear series of guidelines and criteria for HIV positive gay men to stay well and not progress. And this is when there were no drugs. There was no answer in those days, which is why people became more experimental about looking at alternative ways of living with HIV and AIDS. The first thing, and nothing has changed, our advice has not changed over these decades. What we said in '86 stands in 2008 and onwards. The first thing is to avoid all toxic input into your life. Don't ingest any immunotoxins, which is why we recommend very strongly organic food without pesticides, herbicides, or any of the unknown chemicals they put. Because, for instance, if you juice carrots that aren't organic, you're taking a cocktail of something like 300 pesticides, herbicides, it's fertilizers that you don't know what they do long term, what their effects are. So we said very clearly organic food is the first step. Regular meals throughout the day, not just a meal in front of the television once a day or a meal between clubs. That doesn't work. 3 meals: breakfast, lunch, dinner, organic, toxic-free, toxin-free. And then we recommended very provocatively vegetarianism to avoid all toxic input from animals, because the human body, we found, once you were HIV positive, could cope better. The lighter it was, the less imposition put on your immune system. Meat has a long intestinal transit time. If you're immunocompromised, sometimes meat can take 21 days to pass through your system. Meanwhile, it's putrefying. It's decomposing in your system. You're going to get irritable bowel syndrome, Crohn's disease, who knows what else. You're going to get tumors and cancers where it's not passed through. Vegetables in an immunocompromised system, and grains and fruit, etc., generally pass through within 24 hours. 48 hours would be the maximum I've heard of. So it's not about animal liberation, it's about your liberation. It's about keeping you healthy. The least toxic diet is what we recommended: organic vegetarian food. All recreational drugs to be avoided. No drugs, period. These were the basic guidelines. Obviously, people had trouble with doing it immediately, but many did manage it eventually. Also, no smoking. It's one of the most immunocompromising acts you can do, and that's long-term suicide. Smoking is long-term suicide. It's hard to stop, but it's murder not to. You're killing yourself if you don't. So recreational drugs, it's a misnomer, recreational drugs, because people don't take it for recreation, they do it through addiction and compulsion. All drugs to be avoided. I can't even tease them out because one isn't better than the other or less toxic than the other. Just don't do it. And if you think, oh, life isn't worth living, you know, I can't go out anymore. Oh, you can. I do. Or everyone I know does. Don't do it. If you want to live a long, healthy life. If you don't continue taking everything. That's harming you. But if you want a long, satisfying life, these were our recommendations. The other recommendation was, we had fine-tuning then, such as all your cooking utensils, for instance, should be stainless steel or toughened glass. No things like non-stick, because those things eventually leach out and are very immunotoxic. We completely avoid things, artificial sweeteners such as aspartame, which are contained in all diet drinks. A general 330 milliliter jar of Coca-Cola contains 12 spoons of sugar, I believe it is. They all do more or less the same. Very dangerous. Sugar is only 1 or 2 molecules away from cocaine in addiction. The chemical formula are almost identical. So people think, oh well, we won't take, sweetened drinks, sugar drinks. We'll move to diet. Aspartame is more dangerous. You're better off with sugar than the aspartame. Put aspartame into Google sometime and see what your diet drinks are doing to you. I guarantee you won't touch it again. And then we recommended also, I've been through the organic vegetarian diet, no drugs, no smoking. Alcohol is a difficult one because people do socialize. I would say certain alcohols are less problematic than others. We found over the years that organic red, organic white wines, and organic beers and lagers, etc. In moderation, if your drug regime can tolerate it, and you can tolerate it without being addicted and a glass leading to a bottle. But if you have an addictive, compulsive personality, then don't go near them. You might well need professional help to deal with these things. So, toxic people, avoid them. I've found over the last 23 years that almost 90% of gay men I've worked with who are HIV positive have been rejected by their families. They've either been written out of the wills, disinherited, or just told never to come back. We don't want to know you. And for a lot of gay men, family is important. And if suddenly this network is taken away, life isn't worth living. But if they were that toxic enough to expel you, thank God that they did expel you, because would you want to be around people like that? There was a case once of an Irish boy I worked with, lovely boy. He did a workshop with me called the Menergy Weekend, a 48-hour intensive weekend, at the end of which he was so inspired, he drove, it was Christmas, he drove home for Christmas and told his family, he said, he didn't even know he was gay. He said to them, I'm gay and I'm HIV positive. His father beat him up, threw him out of the house. Everything he owned was thrown out of the window after him while he went to the car, waited in the car, watched what was happening. And he drove to the top of a car park in Belfast and drove off the top because his family did that to him. I wish I'd been with him, because I would have made sure that didn't happen. But if that type of family does that to you, you wouldn't want to be around them anyway. So it's not just avoiding toxic food and toxic drink and toxic smoke and toxic liquor. The bigger killer, I would say, is toxic people. You allow toxic people into your life, they will poison you, they will make life not worth living. It's like that thing about relationship where your partner plays away and brings home God knows what. That to me is toxicity. Because someone who loves and respects you wouldn't do that to you, nor you to them. So we have laid down a very clear pathway for positive gay men to stay healthy. It's not an easy pathway because food is an addiction, drugs are an addiction, drink is an addiction, smoking is an addiction. And it's not easy sometimes to say you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s to give up addictions that you do unconsciously. Eating, drinking, smoking, etc. are often unconscious addictions that you don't address consciously. But once you do address it consciously and you look at, I mean, I use this word, you may even laugh, but if you think of your body as a temple, you wouldn't want to pollute it. Unfortunately, most people treat their body as if they are trash cans, garbage bins, and they throw any old shit and rubbish into it. You know, most people treat their body as if they're toilets, and then they, well, what does a blocked toilet look like? That's what their lives look like. So we say, treat your body with the utmost respect, because, hey, you're not going to get another one. You can't go to the refund counter and say, this one's not working, get me another one. It doesn't work that way. And reincarnation's a long way away. You know, you're here now, so deal with it.